What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ford Era. In this video, we're going to show you guys how to build an auto metal direct dent side bed from scratch. So we are here with my buddy Cody.
How's it going, guys?
And so I guess let's just dive right into it. I'm literally like, what, 20 minutes late and you're already started?
I mean, it happens pretty quick once you've done a few of them. So basically what I've done here is I've just started drilling out all of the holes to spot weld everything together. So as you can see, I come in with an 1/8 inch pilot bit first and start the holes. You don't need to put them too close. Every 5 to 6 inches I find is good. It really gives you enough holding to really grab all this. When you count all of them, there ends up being quite a few holding the bed together. And from factory, that's all it had anyways. So really, I got those ones drilled out here. You can see on the header panel, I've already drilled them out to the 5/16, and then came back and I cleaned the E-coat on each spot where the plug weld goes. That just ensures that you get a nice, solid weld. Everything penetrates and grabs a hold, and you don't have any welds breaking down the road. So yeah, header panel's ready to go on and clamp up and get tacked into place, and we can start fitting up these bed sides.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Get this up.
That was lighter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And again, once you've, it's just a matter of, you really got to make sure it stays squared up. That's your biggest thing with these, is keeping it squared. I mean, they're such a great product from the right out of the box. You really don't have to do a whole lot to them. It's mainly just getting it all lined up. The stampings all fit really well with each other. You can see it needs to come back this way just a hair. So what I tend to do, we'll clamp it here. Grab me a little hammer. This moved over just a touch. You really got to make sure that these things are all squared. You don't want to have this panel, you can kind of see what I mean here. So it's got to scoot over just a little bit to the passenger side. You don't always have to redo everything, just a matter of bumping it over. Sometimes it's easier to let loose on one of the clamps. There it goes. So, get this thing going back together. Let's see here, now everything's lined up. Then what I do is just come through and clamp it all in. You don't want to just jump straight to welding these things out right off top. You really want to make sure you get the whole bed at least assembled first. Big on checking everything and making sure it's diamond. Just because front to rear they measure the same, which I mean it's from the manufacturer, they should. Check your diamond. I've been to big shops, go to work on a truck, and the passenger side bed side was almost a half inch further forward because nothing was diamond out right. And I mean, they had bed floor, everything welded into this truck, and couldn't figure out why the tailgate didn't fit. Well, nothing was straight. That will eat you up right there, and that could cost thousands and thousands down the road. So you really got to be careful and make sure, ahead of time. Other than that, this one's ready to just sit up here and be clamped. This, the bed sides, we'll pull it up and force it in place here. So once we get the bed sides drilled out and hung up, you'll see what I mean. It locks it all in and squares it all up and everything real nice.
Good. It's like a big, like you said yesterday, a big Lego puzzle.
Yeah, it is. It's all it really is. And so as they go together, the bed sides will really just lock everything together. You hang the tailgate, and it's good. And then you come back in and just weld it all out. So you really just got to double check, triple check all your measurements, make sure everything's hanging right, squared. Make sure you put that tailgate in there, at least check your fit with the tailgate. You don't want the bed sides leaned in, leaned out, and then you lock them in, weld it all out, and it's stuck there. And so that's another big thing. You really got to double check on that.
So what's our next step?
Next step will be finish drilling out all these holes here. So now we got to come through where I've drilled all these pilot holes and start drilling them out and get ready for plug welds. sometimes they work a little. All right, so now we got all the holes drilled out. You gotta come back and do a little bit of cleanup work on the inside of these things so it all slides together right. But as you can see, the holes are drilled out to 1/4 inch, 5/16 roughly, somewhere around in there. You don't want to go too big because you end up with huge welds. Too small, you're not going to get the penetration you need to get everything to hold together. So that's a general rule of thumb. 1/4 inch, 5/16 is a good size. Now with this and that header panel clamped in place, it's just a matter of setting it all up on the bed, lining it all up, measuring it all out, getting it squared up, and getting it kind of braced in place temporarily so we can mock it up and then start tacking it together.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Double, triple check all the measurements before any welding happens, and it'll be good to go. Fired up. All right, so we cleaned up all the edges here, kind of just removed this E-coat just to make sure, like I said, make sure you get a good weld on it. Got rid of all the slag hanging off the edge of these things. One, you don't want to catch your fingers on it. Two, you don't want to have to try to weld through that. It just adds a chance of porosity. The one thing I really do like about these AMD Ford beds in particular is when the back of the bed rail locks over this and latches it in place and then runs up to that header panel. It actually almost squares itself up. I'm not going to say it's impossible to have them out of diamond because nothing's impossible. I've seen it all. But having this and locking it over here where it slides down into place, it really just keeps this back edge here right in line where you need it. So you can throw your tailgate up just to double check it. But it just really helps hold it all and keep it in place. Just like a puzzle, like we keep calling it a puzzle. Well, those two pieces there hold and lock everything down and allows everything from that point forward to stay in line. Awesome. It's pretty nice.
Looks like we're pretty much time to hang them, huh?
Yeah, pretty much time to start hanging them.
One side on. Wasn't so troublesome.
No. Once you got everything clearance and all that, it'll get up there in place.
That fits really nice.
Yeah, and then you go on the bottom side. What I do is tack these ends and then we can lift it up to get to that bottom flange there. And once you, like with the help of you having second hands here, you can push down on the one to make sure they're leveled out on top, clamp the bottom edge, weld that whole edge up. And so it really is, you know, once you get them fit up in here and get it all fit right how you want. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's more than one right way to do it. There's also a lot of wrong ways to do it. So I like to double check, and I'm pretty picky on fit and everything like that, and that's why you see me grinding and clearancing down there where some guys may have just sent it home and welded it. It's kind of, there's a right way and there's a wrong way.
Yeah.
So
the next step is the other side?
Yep, get the other side on.
All right. Bed side on. Now it looks like a bed.
Yeah.
It's crazy how quick that happens, huh?
Right. A little bit of finagling, a little bit of work, but yeah.
So the main things you're gonna wanna look out for that we've noticed is you need to have this panel go over the back. It looks like it could go over the front, but it's not meant to. I think that was pretty much the only actual.
Yeah, once you get that, because when it all goes together, it wants to go the other way. But you just gotta kind of have to force it into place, and that actually holds everything. The tension helps hold it together, it seems like here, because right now we just got one clamp holding this side on and a sheet metal screw on each end of the other side. So it really just locks itself into place, and it looks great.
So now what's the next step?
Next step is we gotta start double checking measurements. We're gonna put some screws in the other side just to, lock it down a little more solid, pull some measurements, double check, throw the tailgate up in there and check that back in. One thing that you wanna make sure, like I could see, this side's not bad, that side, because it's just sitting there, obviously is leaned in.
Yep.
So that's one thing. I mean, right now we haven't done anything to alleviate that. It's literally just sitting there, so obviously it's gonna be a little off. But as you're assembling your bed, be mindful of that. That's going to be your main thing, is making sure these bed sides are leaned how they're supposed to be. Check your widths front and rear across the back, side to side also. Just make sure they're leaned into the same front to rear so your bed doesn't taper or anything like that. Really with these things, it's double, triple checking your measurements before you make anything permanent. That's the biggest step. That's the biggest thing to make sure you don't have any headaches to find you down the road. 64.
So what you doing?
I'm going to tack this brace in. You want to kick that on for me? Oh, it's right here. That usually helps, huh?
A little bit.
So we throw a little temporary brace across here, just to kind of help hold while we get everything, get the tailgate fit in here, hold the side to side, keep from leaning and all that. Doesn't have to go too crazy, just something to hold. Get that on there. Oh, I have to turn my welder real quick.
I got you.
Longer leads hanging, I just haven't put them on. Oh, we're good. All right, now we got it all ready to weld out. We got this side clamped up, kind of just fixed clamps all along. You see me moving them kind of as you go. Keep it really tight as you're welding, especially right next to where you're plug welding. Clean both the back metal and the front metal just so you can kind of make sure it gets good penetration. Got everything lined up now. We've squared the whole thing up, checked diamond, double checked it.
So it was really hard to show you guys because I had to help him do it.
Right.
So let's tell some of the measurements that we figured out, like numbers wise. Like the back we measured out, you're gonna want, it's 65 and a half and 65 and a quarter.
Yes, 65 and a quarter. And then we're roughly at 65 and an eighth at the back end. So it tends to be a slight taper. We double checked it with multiple trucks here in the yard.
Yeah, and we tack welded this in just so that way it's easier. We did not get, I don't know, I forgot to get all the hardware to mount the tailgate.
Right.
So this gives it the exact thing. We've checked the tailgate and it looks awesome.
Yeah, double check the tailgate. Everything fits in there as it should. It lines up good. The body lines are good. The gaps are good. That's just a temporary brace while we weld everything out. Now what we're going to do is basically weld out the ends, the pillars here, lock it all down on both ends, and then we got to pick the bed up, get underneath it, and plug weld down the whole flange to marry it to the center section.
Yeah, and right now it's 12:17 and it's been about 3 hours, and I'd say out of those 3 hours we legit probably only have like an hour and a half to 2 hours in it. I'd say we have at least an hour of talking.
Right, exactly.
Heck yeah.
So I mean, really, it's can be done fairly quickly if you know what you're doing, if you know what to look for, and you kind of get on it.
I'm sure you know after you've done 2 or 3 more of these, you're gonna knock them out.
Right. Yeah. Here, exactly.
So where do you like to start as far as welding?
Generally what I'll do is I'll come and I'll start on the header panel here and lock everything in all the way around. You can get to the every single plug weld on this one just from the outside here. So I'll get these ones completely done, jump to the rears, and I'll weld the bed pillars, the plug welds on the top side and the back side there. Then at that point we'll pick the bed up, get underneath, and we'll do one side at a time and move all these clamps to the flange here, clamp them all in place, and plug weld each one at a time and go all the way down and get the back edge across to the rear header panel. And then jump to the other side. It'll be the same thing on the other side, and then it's all welded out in just a matter of sanding welds. Get finished out.
Time to burn them in.
Yep.
Safety first, look at that. Got the helmet and everything.
Yeah.
That still has the Ford Era sticker from Goldust, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Yep, this one I won't get rid of. It's got a bunch of throwback stickers on it, so. Here, just move your clamps on down with you. Make sure you're holding the metal tight where you want it. I generally will try to put one on each side of the plug weld. Keep it nice and sandwiched good. That one done.
Boom. 4 minutes and 22 seconds.
Go work your way around it now. Burn them in one at a time. Can't really get in too much of a hurry here because there's only so fast you can go. So, just take your time, make sure everyone's good. Cool, all right, so now we got this whole front header panel fully welded out. Get just all the plug welds all the way around. Completely done on this one. So now what we're gonna do is jump to the back end, weld the back end out, then we'll move to the bottom side and we'll do all the grinding at the end once everything's done.
Heck yeah.
All right, so here we got the whole back end all welded out. I mean, the back end, there's a lot less here as far as this edge goes, just top edge and then the bottom. There's some on the underside on the back edge, but we'll get those when we get the bottom seams that go along the bed floor.
So what are we doing next?
Next, we're gonna get this up in the air a little bit higher up off the table so we can access this bottom flange, get the clamps, get it all clamped in place, and do one set at a time and get these last welds done.
Awesome.
All right, so now we got this stood up on the end here, and we're gonna come through and you gotta clamp these seams all the way down to marry these last two joints. What you wanna do while you're doing that is make sure on the top side that they're aligned, because if you just go clamping, then you flip it over, you may notice they're kind of misaligned. So it's good to have a buddy, or just take your time, go back and forth as you're doing it to look at the other side and kind of really see where you need to be. Other than that, just get it all clamped in place, locked down, and start welding. Here we are, we got it all welded in. Went down each side, clamped it, welded all out, plug welded. At this point, the whole bed is welded together, completely solid. Only thing left to do now is to grind your welds, finish it out, and then it can be painted. Here we got it all welded up. Basically what we're doing is just going to do our final sanding. Come back and sand all the plug welds now. I like to hit them with the flap disc, 60 grit flap disc on an electric grinder first, and then I'll finish it off with a 120 grit sanding disc and then a rapid strip grit disc. So that way it kind of gives it a good finish. Finish it all off, work your way around the bed. This thing's done. All right, so here we got it all sanded down, kind of final product on this end. Ready for a painter to work their thing. Just finished out, like I said, with the 60 grit flap disc, 120 grit, then a rapid strip. You can come back and DA it if you want. It's totally your call at this point, but that's a wrap for the front edge of this one. And next we're gonna get to the back here and sand these last couple welds we got back here and get the back edge done. Cool, so basically we'll wrap that up, got this all sanded. It's ready to go now. Leave the tailgate off, makes it a little bit lighter to try to do the insulation as far as setting it on your truck. I'll go ahead and cut this off once we get it over there onto the truck. Other than that, and it's ready to roll. So we got this back end all sanded down, finished out. Went ahead and got any of the spot welds that are gonna be visible back here. 60 grit, 120 grit, and then finished up with the rapid strip. We're going to leave the tailgate off for the installation, just saves the weight, makes it a little easier, less to carry over there and put it on the truck. As far as this bracing, I'll generally leave it in and just cut it off once it gets over there. Nothing's going to move, get it mounted on the truck, and a lot of times you could use it to help carry it. Other than that, this thing's ready to go.
What's your spraying over there?
Just going over this bottom stuff with some rust mark to kind of stop anything that's going to happen right around your welds. Just a little precaution, just so no rust happens. It always right around the spot welds, right around where you've welded. It causes the carbon and everything to build up there. So whatever, I'm not really sure what the scientific reasoning behind it is, but you look at any of them and it's right at the weld where it happens. So just a little safety.
Okay, guys, as we said, the bed is all finished. So we got the bumper off to make it easier to put on. And then to make it even easier than that, gonna let the air out of the tires. So that'll give us what, 6 inches?
Yeah, give us a little extra wiggle room. Get rid of the sidewall, get it squatted down, we can walk right over top of it.
Heck yeah.
So basically what we got here, we kind of just lifted the bed up just to kind of help us ease it, get it onto the truck. Got some jack stands underneath the front edge here to help clear the tires and get it over. Just help a little bit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to roll it down right up to the back edge of the truck here and then get a little muscle and pick it up and put it on there for us.
Heck yeah. I'm going to put you guys down and wish us some luck.
Down on us. Pick it up. You think we can get it? Pick that one back up. There you go. Oh, I got sketchy. Probably need to have a couple beer buddies over with you for this. Sitting on the jack stand back here, I think. There we are.
Well, that fit on there pretty freaking perfect. And just the two of us.
Right, yeah.
It was not even that sketchy.
No. One brief second of some sketch, but it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad at all.
Dude.
Look at that. Man,
That looks so good. It's amazing how now it looks like a truck.
Right.
Like 2 minutes ago, didn't look like a truck. Now, looks like a truck.
Changes the whole thing.
Heck yes, obviously, there's no bolts, it's not aligned, but it's on there. Auto Metal Direct, coming in clutch. You guys know that they sell these, like any of us could buy them, you could assemble it yourself. It's pretty straightforward. So, we're gonna tinker with this a little bit and then I'll pick you guys back up.
All right guys, so here we go. I mean, that's basically it. We got the bed all built. It's not 100%, we didn't prime all the bare metal spots. It's not bolted down. And we went ahead and left the tailgate off, waiting for the new tailgate hinges and latch hardware and all that. But this right here, I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you build a bed. Auto Metal Direct, you can't complain about the parts. The quality is just, you know, second to none when it comes to these things. The part speaks for itself here. It looks
great. What's crazy to me is that it's right now, I mean, it's, you guys can see it, it's 3:19. I showed up here at like 9 a.m.
Right.
And I mean, we've been screwing around.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't exactly just sitting and working the whole time, but it went together. I mean, the parts fit together really great. You can't complain about that. I mean, they really, it makes it nice. So, I mean, they go together pretty easy. We still got some priming work to do and some other fine tuning work to get it all done. But other than that, this is it. I mean,
so we were talking, and a lot of people are probably going to be wondering if they need to get a bed like this. Obviously, if they could do the work, they could go to autometaldirect.com, pick up the bed.
Right.
But let's say they don't know how to do any of the work, or they just don't feel like it.
I mean, feel free. You can contact me on Instagram, drop me a line. I mean, we can get you these beds, get them completely put together, welded out and finished, ready for paint, just like this, and get them picked up and shipped to your door. Just get us a line, feel free to contact us.
Heck yeah.
Perfect.
Well, I think we're just gonna keep staring at how good this thing looks.
It really fits good. We need to get a gas door in it.
Yes.
But
and then I think that's where we're gonna end this video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you can, smash the like button. It really helps us out. And then drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about the bed? What do you think about the truck? And thank you to Auto Metal Direct for hooking us up. Cody's the man. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.